it's not just we have a good welder. It's not just that we're buying U.S. material, but we have processes all the way through our system. How are you? This is Vince Roman from Bourbon Stainless with another episode of Vince in Shorts. This is just a reach out to Cam over at Baggers and Bourbon. He had a video that put out about a week ago, and he had a lot of good points that he made on exhaust. So I just wanted to come in and kind of reinforce some of the things that he was saying and maybe give some explanations as to why we do some of the things that we do. Cam, I think that you mentioned, which is very, very dear and near to our hearts here, is the Made in USA brand. And you made some really, really good points. You talked about, are we using American machinery? Is it American hands that are producing our is the material coming from the United States direct? Great points. And when you're here today and you're claiming to be American made, it's really, really important to know that the company that you're working for is doing what they can to be American made. Now, you made a very, very good point that the material might be coming from China, it might be going to a mill in Canada, and it might be actually sold by a company here in the United States, and we say that's US made. We try very, very hard to try to make sure that our material is sourced from the United States. It's not always possible because we are oftentimes buying the material on the spot market. It's what our distributors have in stock, but we tend to work with the best distributors that we can. And we use Rath Gibson tubing for as much as we can do. They do have plants in the United States and plants in Canada, but we feel that the North American heritage is really, really important. Also, Cam, you talked about certificates of conformance. Well, I think that one thing that we do here is we actually track our material testing reports, our MTRs as they're called, and they actually a step better than a certificate of conformance, because a certificate of conformance is really just the company that you buy something from writes a letter that says, this is 304 stainless, signed the name of the company. The MTR is actually a report that comes from a test lab that actually states what the material is, what is the composition of the material, and is signed off by lab technicians and corporate people and such. So it's a much, much better document. And what we do here at Bourbon Stainless is we have a ERP system, or they call it Enterprise Resources Program. And we actually, for all of our jobs, we actually track the material that's used. So we have the ability, if somebody calls up and somebody has a problem with one of their pipes, we can actually go into our system, we can look up that particular order, we can trace it back to the batch, we can trace it back to the tubing, and we can trace it all the way back to a material test report. Now, that is something that is done routinely in aerospace, probably not in the automotive industry, very high industries. I doubt very much that there are very many aftermarket motorcycle exhaust manufacturers that are doing this. It's not just we have a good welder. It's not just that we're buying US material, but we have processes all the way through our system that assure that we are putting out a good product. Do things slip through the cracks? Sure they do, but we're able to address those really, really quickly. Cam, again, out there at Baggers and Bourbon, thank you so much for bringing up those great points in your video. I hope that you're able to see this video as well and see that I'm listening to you guys, and I really appreciate what you're doing out there. So until next time, this is Vince from Bourbon Stainless.